for the art of life. For he can't distinguish between his joy and his work. For he loves what he does and he does what he loves. Meaning when one would say, hey, I would have did that for free, but yet I'm getting paid for it. So it's like feeding two birds with one seed opposed to killing two birds with one stone. You know, it's like you got two hands. One to help yourself and one to help other people. And when he put them together, he got the whole world in his hands. You know, it's like you just don't want to make an income, but you want to make an impact. You just don't want to build a business, but you want to create a life. So it's like the secret, the key to success is how well you can align yourself up with other people. And then not only when you know how to do that, you know how to line other people up with other people, and you know what department they'll work well in, and you know what group they'll thrive in. And then you move up from worker to supervisor to manager, the boss, then CEO. So this the difference between the worker and the CEO. The worker might quite not understand this shit because our roses don't bloom at the same time. But the CEO, he does. Now, all of Israel shall be saved, so the worker will eventually make it into it. And as we know, the last shall be first and the first shall be last. You know, so the worker, he understands. I mean, the CEO, he understands this. But he might have multiple streams of income, right? But with the CEO, most CEOs may not understand is how that you have these multiple streams of income, but yet that might not be the key where you actually want to do. That might not be your niche. It might not be your thing. You know, you're successful at them, and you know what the good book always said, make sure you apply to all. So the CEO, he just ends up applying it to things like, hey, business. And he knows he can make a lot of money, which is not a bad thing. But the failure is when he's not consistent to apply it to the rest of the parts of his life. So that's what I'm disclosing today and what we're discussing. You know, we're going to do a full 360. We're going to do a round circle, you know, a full circle, because, you know, everything does come full circle. So as I was saying, you just don't want to make an income, but you want to make an impact. So what I'm meaning by this, let's say, you know, you have a wife, or a wife, she has a husband, or, you know, let's say you married. You just don't want to be able to say, hey, I got a girlfriend, or I got a boyfriend, or I'm married, or I got a wife. You not only do you want to say that, but you also want to say that I love her and she loves me. And, you know, we have shared life. You know, shared life is the most. It's the highest that we know. It's the greatest of them all. The greatest love is what it's called. For us, just to talk means a lot, but when we walk, you see what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, just you want to get the most out of whatever you do. Like, you always want to get more bang for your buck. You know what I'm saying? If you have $100 or 40, you want to be able to, like, okay, I got this and this and that out there, instead of just getting one thing. I mean, you could get one thing if that's all you need. But my point is for you to get the most out of whatever you get. You know, that's when they say he has a win-win, per se. Hey, he won or she won, you know. And that's what you want to do. You want to be able to get more than one thing out of whatever you do. You know, like, for instance, right about now, you're just not, you know, getting the understanding, but hey, it's putting a smile on your face. You're gonna understand it, puts a smile on your face. You're gonna learn to entertain. You know, you're getting multiple things out of it. You could just be getting one, but you're getting multiple things, and that's what you want to really do, you know. So, okay. With that being said, let's move on in a way. Well, you can look at things from a perspective, as we were saying, you know, the CEO and the worker. Okay. So, like I said, you know, the worker, you know, and the CEO, but the worker will get there, and the CEO might not understand one thing, but the last should be first, and the first should be last. Now, you know, like I said, taking a gap year, leaving out of high school, going into college, and you might just get to college, and every guy and every gal that goes down the list, and they be like, I don't want to do any of this on this list. But if I not have to, but if I need to choose one of these, I guess I'll choose this or this, you know. Okay, so with that being said, that's how we end up being in, you know, most curriculums. But it's like, you know, high school, when you leave, they're like trying to stop you before you go out to college. Like, wait a minute, before you go into most school now, make sure you know what it is you want to do and what you want to be. You know, they say our parents are supposed to help us with that, but hey, you know, sometimes they might have didn't know what they want to be. You know, that's why they say, hey, build your dream. If you don't build your dream, somebody's going to hire you to help build theirs. Do what you love, and you'll never have to work a day in your life. But with that being said, if our parents didn't know, so we have to forgive them for what they do not know what they do, you know, and that's okay. So with that being said, you're trying to make a, you know, a decision, and sometimes we don't make a decision. You know, even I never know what I wanted to do at first, and you know, we have a time, but we're gonna give a solution on what's the niche to helping anybody find out what it is, you know, their calling, their talent, or talents, as we're gonna mention, could be. And we're gonna give y'all some guys some insight today, and gals, so everybody can know what their purpose is, their talents, their dreams, their niche. And while we're here, we're gonna get into it. We're gonna come up with a solution. But first, let me finish giving you a presentation of what I'm saying, and it'll all come together. So what I'm saying is, it's like, okay, high school, they were like, you know, you need social studies, science, math, finite, you know, reading, literature, language arts, accounting. You need science, history, chemistry, biochemistry. You need nutrition. You need like philosophy, psychology, biology. Look, you need all of these subjects, you know, physics, you know, I mean, the list goes on and on. So some of these you're gonna, at different times, you're gonna need some more than others, just all dependent. But you're gonna need to know all of these things, because whatever you decide to do in life, like I said, some more than the other. It just depends. And it's like this, you're gonna need a variety of understanding. So when you pursue whatever it is you're going to pursue, you'll have a full range and spectrum on how you classify these things, and you take care of what needs to be done on many different levels of it. And you see to it that, hey, I understand this, you know. So, and it's like school wanted you to keep all of these subjects right, and take out their elective and put in your elective, as you see that. And they wanted you to understand, as we know, the basics: get up on time, be organized. And here we are, you know. So it's like, really, like, sometimes we don't even need college at some point. That's why they're telling you, slow down, think about your life, think about the gap year. You're not so much thinking about it, but you taking this time, hadn't. You already know what your calling is and know what your niche is. Now it's time to take some time and connect. Seek the kingdom first, and all His righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. That's why sometimes some people don't do that, and it might be even your parents saying, "Hey, just keep going, you know." And true enough, everything is, you know, steady moving and vibrating, and you know, it's steady just in motion, which it should be, you know. But sometimes, you know, it's a time for stillness, and in stillness we can see, and you know, the spirit would be. But as I was saying, when you end up being still, but at the same time you're still vibrating and you're moving as you should, because look, you know, energy never dies, it transfers, as we know. But as you do this thing, you know, you're coming, you should be coming, but up into your time. And that's where I'm gonna tell you what should be done at that time. And if it's not done at that time and you're already out of high school and went to college or not in college, or you there, some people at different parts of their life. Some people in the gap year right now. Some people is finna make it to the gap year in the next 2 years, or the next year, or the next day. Some people are way past that. Some people went into a curriculum they didn't like and retired or not retired or still in that curriculum. But it's never too late. So we'll still end up answering all of that as I wrap this up and come to the conclusion of it. So I'm saying, like, when you do this thing, right, and you may not know what it is you really want to do. So, but the thing is, college was trying to, like, hold up, don't do that, don't put that pressure on yourself, don't do that, because, you know, basically universities and, you know, different places, if you really know, say, like, if you did know what you want to do, right? And this is what I'm trying to say about before you go to college, that it might not be necessary, or university. If you're really good at something and you do know your niche, or you have an idea, or let's just say you that CEO, like I just mentioned, you just did it for the money. Not that you don't just want to build a business, you do want to create a life, and you know, just don't want to you know, you know, you want to create a life, just not a business, and you just don't want to have an income, but you want to have an impact. So with that being said, what I'm trying to say, but if one was to do it like that, at the same time, you still want to be good at whatever you do. But it's kind of impossible, but you can make money off of it if it's not really your niche. But we're really trying to come out of that. So the thing of it is, you want to, you know, be able to help somebody, help yourself, and let it take care of your lifestyle at the same time. You just don't want to be doing it for one solely reason, you know. So when you're doing it like that, you want to be in a position where you say, let's say per se, the university or the college, if you're really good at what you're doing, they will give you, reward you, they will honor you, as the universe always does, a certificate. They'll give you a doctorate, not exactly give it to you, but you'll be honored with it. Not that you didn't do the work, you did the work. And you worked hard for it, but you didn't necessarily go to school. You know, you schooling, but I'm saying just not that particular university, you know. And that might be the university that give you the same certificate or per se another one. But it still honors you because you put in the work, and people are there to vouch for you saying, yeah, he did it, she did it. You know, they really did so good in the thing they love. You know, that's why one would say, hey, I would have did it for free, but yet I'm getting paid. So that's you seeking the kingdom first. This thing that you seeking is really seeking you, because it's like you just not looking to help yourself, but first you're saying to yourself, my work, my job, my niche, my vision, my thing, does it help somebody else? Is it really helping somebody in the way that it can help their mind, soul, body? Is it really that help? And if it is, and then it helps you automatically because you're helping somebody else. And now, not only that, it's taking care of your lifestyle. And that is brilliant and that's beautiful. And you should have a fulfilled life. Matter of fact, you should have a beautiful life. Everybody should. And so, and this is how we're going to do it. So let's get into that part, okay? And then we'll go back and kind of touch some parts where we left off and where we didn't really leave off, but we're going to bring it full circle and connect the dots, and we'll get back, to some parts about the job. So, okay, these are the things that would help anybody understand their niche. 1, the fruit gives life. 2, the herbs for the healing of the nation. 3, blessed is he who readeth, or she who readeth. Whether you're happy, you sad, you're depressed, or you're just trying to figure things out. And when you do this, what happens is the walls of your cells, they rejuvenate. Your molecular structure changes. Your DNA, it unlocks. It opens up. Your enthusiasm kicks in, and your inspiration sparks up. And then you start to retain your memory. And then you just start being creative. Because if a man, a woman, a child isn't producing, planning, or building, or creating, they're dying on the inside. It's like the hamster on a treadmill, or like the caduceus. Snake chasing after its own tail. You got me going in circles, But, and don't get me wrong, everything is in a full circle. But you don't want to be in a circle that's spiraling downwardly, digging yourself a ditch, digging yourself a hole. Then, per se, perhaps you're just end up burying yourself, and all of this is on top of you. But we're going to turn water to wine, and we're going to get it off you. And you're going to rise above. You're going to, rise to the occasion. As you should, and we all should. Everyone should. So, as I was saying, so you're just being creative. Like you just have a habit every day of doing this, and you don't think too much of what you're doing because you just normally do it. A habit, what today we call hobbies. And so as you're doing it, one day you might share it with a friend or whatnot, or just anybody for that example, in that matter, and they'll say to you, you know what, you should really do something with that. And then you'll think about it later, and then you'll say to yourself, yeah, I could do something with this, and this could help somebody else, and this could help me. And it could take care of my lifestyle. And then that's how you know your first niche, excuse me. But you would think, some might think it's just one, but remember, you're a jack of all trades. And the good book always said, what did it say? Cover the best gifts. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to cover the best gifts, But first, we want to put this one into action and fruitation. We want to actually get it done. We just don't want to be hearers of the word, but we want to be doers. We want to actually make moves. So when we actually put the first one into rotation, it shows us that we can put another one in rotation. Then that's how we know we'll be able to do, because we're going to have many ideas and things and visions as we all do and already have, but they just start coming in more and more because, hey, like I said, the fruit gives life and the herbs for the healing of the nation, and blessed is he who read it. The word was made flesh, and here we are. So, you're going to see a way where you can do the other ones because you didn't show yourself and you didn't show the universe that you can. So let his will be done on earth as it is in heaven, in the body and the physical, as it is in heaven, and the mental and the spiritual. And, as above, so below, as within, so without. So are you, so are the universe. And, here we are, we are one. So, as you did that, now you have it just where you where one would want it to be. Now it's like the parable of the talents, right? One man had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The man that had 10, he obviously multiplied his. The man that had 1, he was deemed wicked because he didn't take his talent and didn't give it to the world. So he was living in fear, doubt, guilt, as he overcomes the world and he puts the first one into action. It's a seed that was planted, it was sprouted, it landed on good soil. Now it got growth, it got life. So, what did it always tell us? Be fruitful and multiply. So you multiply these spirits into matter, into physical form. Earth proceeds from wind, fire, and water is birth. All thanks to the ethers. Hallelujah. That's what we have here. So, as we made this happen, we just gave life, because that's why they say faith without works is dead. A man ain't independent without woman, a woman ain't independent without man. Man might have knowledge, but woman got transformation, and knowledge without transformation don't equal wisdom, but knowledge with transformation does equal wisdom. Yeah. Shouts out to Polly Kaleo. Hey, go get that book, Breather. Yeah. Many quotes I said, hey, they coming from various places. Some cliches, some has authors, and some are straight from, the most sold book in the world. That's the Bible. So, with that being said, you always can look up some of these things I say. So that's why they say, examine yourselves that you're in the truth, try the spirit by the spirit. It's not about what I believe, but it's about what you believe. So that's why they always say, believe in yourself. So, with that being said, let's jump right back into it. Not that we left it, because, hey, like Napoleon, he'll say, hey, the devil never drifts. in the book, Outwitting the Devil, hey, go check that book out as well. So, what we would say is, like, another thing I would say going down the career path as well. Let's see. An airplane, right? You got your parachute, right? Optimist makes the airplane. The pessimist makes the parachute, right? So, it wouldn't be one without the other, right? Both is needed. You know what I'm saying? High optimistic mindset, and you would also say you could be pessimistic as well. It's good because constructive criticism is much needed. we could use constructive criticism. I mean, it's a helpful tactic. I mean, we really got to know, God actually created good and evil. He made each day for its own special outcome. Like they say, hey, even the fall was predestinated. Shouts out to my man watching. Hey, we can learn from any and everybody and anything. Let's bring this thing full circle. Because why? We are one. We are one. Past, present, and future. Everything's happening at the same time, simultaneously. We all know this. These things, this is like ancient history. Hey, ancient wonders, But we're here to bring everything full circle. You can say unlock it, unfold it. You can call it mysteries. It's whatever. He say I gave it to a child to know. So hey, once you, like Solomon was, hey, in all his arraignment, the lilies of the valley, look, and he made them, and even the fowls of the air, they got clothes. So, hey, what more shall I give you, So, anyway, so like I was saying, the pessimist makes the airplane, and no, the pessimist makes the parachute, sorry. And optimist makes the airplane. So, left, right, left, right. You see what I'm saying? Left, right, left, right. You want to have that balance as above, so below. You want to have that. So, because if you lean too much to the right, you're going to be putting too much weight on that one leg. So you got to have that balance in your life. We all need that from time to time. So, as I was saying, if you be over pessimistic, someone's going to say, hey, you're reaching, per se, you're being extra, because if you make too many parachutes and not enough airplanes, right, you want to also believe that you can fly as well, because you make too many parachutes and you end up doubting yourself, because for every parachute you make, you need to make an airplane. For every airplane needs to be a parachute, just like man ain't independent without woman, woman ain't independent without man, faith without works is dead, So with that being said, if you end up making too many parachutes, it's like you're never gonna end up probably getting anything done, because you need to also believe that you can do it. Yeah, you could use a backup if one thing don't work. Yeah, I mean, that's just like coming up with another resolution, and we'll get into that, because when one thing don't work, you do need something, not saying it's not, but on the first try, if it doesn't go through, that don't mean it's the end of all, or you can't do it. It's just that, sometimes some things come at its own season, which all things does, and its own timing. But you do want to get the engine started, time you start it, you're not going to be just bam on the freeway, put it in reverse, take it out of park, put it in reverse, put it in the drive, or just put it in the drive, depends on where you park, bust a left, bust a right, hey, it's like, but you will get there. All roses don't bloom at the same time, but all of Israel shall be saved. So we all shall get there. So with that being said, it's like the parachute, you want to be optimistic. So if you do both of them, because you don't want to be critical thinking is good, but you don't want to be over critical, because then you'll keep saying, what if this happened, what if that happened, and then you might not never get nothing done. So always remember, it's not a bad thing. There's no rights, there's no wrongs. We're all just learning. I'm trying to remember who said that. I'm really not saying everybody's name, but y'all can look up anything I say. But All I know, he is, where is that book? The problem, he's the author of the book. I have it somewhere around here. The problem with women is men by, man, where is that book? Anyway, that'll come up again, and I'll have his name. But yeah, you might want to try my IG page. It should be on there. Ancient Wonders _7. Yeah. So let's see. We want to be able to say. I was at the part of saying that. Yeah. So you just don't want to be, optimistic without being pessimistic. You need both. Just letting you all know we need each other, because why? Because the success of one depends on the success of another. Which brings us into the next part I wanna, expound on. Like I was saying, the parents are supposed to help us, but yet they probably didn't know what they want to be. So we forgive them for what they do not know what they do. And when we now know better, we do better. So this is what I want to say. So the best thing parents could ever give their children is to agree to disagree respectfully when adversity arises and when obstacles appear. This way, when they get older or they get grown, they get a job, or they create their own job for that fact, or they have peers as friends, or they have a boyfriend or girlfriend, or a husband and wife, they can say, hey, one thing, hey, I never seen my parents argue. They always came together and they reasoned together with one another. Why? Because the success of one depends on the success of another. Why? Because they were mature, most importantly of all. And see, that's how all things get done, right? The success of one depends on the success of another. That's how all these businesses, corporations, even a small job, or all the roads, freeways, highways, streets, avenues, boulevards. This is how everything get built. Concrete being laid. What you want to name? All of this stuff, from foundation to up above as below. Everything gets done. We do nothing alone. We do nothing by ourselves. Everything gets done. The success of one depends on the success of another. Just think about it, right? Just think about it. Okay, jobs, they just don't want to fire people, right? Because they have to hire other people. Or some people just leave for various reasons. Maybe they got a better job or whatever. But jobs really don't want to fire people, because then they got to replace them. Because, like I say, the success of one depends on the success of another. Whatever you're doing is running off collective power. We already know that. That's why this is a full circle. Everything is a mastermind. This is infinity. Energy never dies, but it multiplies. So this is why we call the Most High. Ha, 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 ha. We getting higher. Let's get high tonight. So what I'm saying is, it's like, you end up, the jobs is not on the fire people. That's one thing you got to understand. We all got to understand this. But let's say, okay, if nobody at the job got along right, they would go bankrupt. Come on. Let's be honest. They'll go bankrupt. No doubt about that. So for the majority, you don't really see places going bankrupt. If it is, it's not because the workers are not agreeing. It's probably because of not so much the marketing department, but how we can say how the CEO, because this is business, if the brain is blown, the head of the operation, the body's gone, so It's just one of those things, It's just one of those things. But let's not defer or so much differentiate from, the point, Like Napoleon say, the devil never drifts, So let's out with the devil. So what happens is, it's like, they don't want a person to actually, per se, quit, right? Because the success of one depends on the success of another. That's how things go. And like I said, hey, even if people at jobs, they might not really want to be there. We all know we have people at jobs right now. They don't want to be there, but they do enough to keep the job thriving, and you might not like all of your coworkers, and y'all might have some things against you. I'm not saying those things should appear, but we all know they do, and they're there. And the point I'm trying to say why that is concluded is that even with not wanting to be somewhere, and you're there, y'all all actually making it work, and it's getting done, and you're not letting the petty differences bring you to a thing that's really not a thing, but we call it separation, because separation was for edification. Separation is not real, because why? We're all one. Why? Because the success of one depends on the success of another. I mean, he told you, work like the ants. And you better. That's the only way we gonna make it. Work like the ants. Most people say, look to nature, look to nature. It is what it is. So, like I said, everything will go bankrupt. Even think like with AI, right? So, if AI got a glitch, right? So the owner of that business has to call up he or she. Hey, got a glitch. I need you to come in and give this thing a hard reset. Why? Because the success of one depends on the success of another. So the AI is very helpful. But at the same time, hey, the success of one person depends on the success of another. That's how stuff get built. That's how stuff thrive. That's how stuff operate. And that's how we flourish. And that's how we build empires, kingdoms, and fortresses. Believe that. There's no other way. Well, that's not something you really have to be a believer on. That's something we all know as a fact. It's happening every day. And people want to hear about it. Betty. Yeah, Betty, right. Hey, tonight's the night. Hey, weeping endures for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. So, okay. With that being said, the success of one depends on the success of another. That's how important this is. Okay. So let's get to it. So, the mama, the wife, let's say she goes off and she works a job and help this company thrive, right? She's doing good at it. Let's say the husband, the daddy, the father, he goes off to work a job, right? At another place. Not saying they shouldn't be working together on their own thing, but we're using these scenarios where, for edification purposes to come to a conclusion so we can get a better understanding on this thing we call life. We're looking at it from many different angles and dimensions. And here we are. Let's get into it. Full circle, baby. 360s. I love it. So, he goes off to work. He makes this company thrive, right? And she does too. But somehow, some way, right? They can't seem to get it done where it counts the most. Right in their own homes. And it's like, they'll say to their children, well, baby, you know I love you. And the child looks at them and they say to them, well, if you love me, keep thy commandments. And then, you know, it's like, but he grown now, or she grown now, you know, and the child looking like, well, sure, I could go to my job and see them thrive and build the empire, and the co-worker, the CEO, the boss, the managers, they all working together as a collective energy to keep this ball, this thing thriving and going, and everybody achieving goals, getting paid, you know. That's hopefully they doing something to help others as well. But they doing this thing right, and it's like, I could go to my, you know, the child saying I could go to my friend's house, right? And I could see the mother and father there, and my friend and them as a family. If they have siblings, brothers and sisters, or everybody's getting along and everybody's thriving, because the success of one depends on the success of another. And I could either do two things. It just depends on how I feel at the time. I could admire this, and at the same time, I could be envious of it and wish that I had that and I could see that. See, you know, them saying, oh, he's grown now, she grown, but they still need to see that. Why? Because they need to see their own people do it so they can know they can do it. It's easy to see it get done everywhere else, but that's why that's the one of the best things parents could give their children is, you know, it's not money, but it's to agree to disagree respectfully. When that adversity arises and obstacles appear, this way, when they get older, they get a job, create their own job for that fact, or they have peers as friends, or they have a boyfriend or girlfriend, or husband or wife, they can say one thing, hey, I never seen my parents argue. They always came together and reasoned together with one another. Why? Because the success of one depends on the success of another. This is how all things is built, all things are done. This is how all things thrive. This is how all things move. Just watch people do stuff in the collective. Watch nature get stuff done. Watch a tribe for the ants. You know, is it something helping this thrive to come together and stick together and work? Do they hear a voice? What he said, for my sheep hear my voice, another they shall not follow. So yeah, and I want to talk about that. But what's going to happen is I'm going to take a break, and I'm going to come back, and we going to